If you are interested in the welfare, in the liberation of Africans and of Black people, this is a very important video that you need to watch.
And if you want to hear me go on an esoteric rant, please watch to the end.
The heart of the Black resistance is under attack as for most of this year and last year, and we cannot keep ignoring it. We need to keep talking about it. We need to march against it. We need to organize protests against it. We need to keep showing our support. This was France over the weekend. People having fun, going out, doing normal things. This was Mali over the weekend. I can't show all of the video because it's all graphic stuff. I'm just going to show, give you an example of what was going on in Mali over the weekend.
Allahu Akbar! Darna pik ya! Darna pik! Allahu Akbar!
This was replicated in Burkina Faso, in Niger, over the last 6 months. Same thing. They have been under constant attack. JNIM has been attacking them. This fake liberation Azawad movement has been attacking them. This is France and the United States attacking the AES Alliance because they have decided that they are tired, that they want to be sovereign, and that they want to govern themselves and keep their resources for their people. These are the internal contradictions of the world. You see how the peace and the prosperity of the Northern Hemisphere is maintained on the violence that is done to the people of the South, to Black people, to Africans. For years, this is almost 60 years after independence, the Sahel states, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger were some of the poorest states in the world. They've been in this post-colonial relationship with France for almost 60 years, and they have nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing to show for it. Niger Republic supplies 25% of the uranium that is burned in the nuclear plants in Europe. 25%. Niger Republic has 20% electricity penetration and not one single nuclear reactor. This is how France has prospered. People have been talking about this for a long time. It's not anything hidden. France is getting almost from colonial contracts, the agreements that it made its countries sign. France has been getting almost 500 billion. What does 500 billion dollars every year? Because they have first right to minerals. They control their currency. They have first. You must import all your goods, internal goods from France first before you source it from anywhere else, if you can find it in France.
Let me tell you about another thief, a little bitty country called France, and then I'll proceed to tell them about the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. Through that pact, one aspect of it, which had to do with bank reserves, France is taking out of Africa over $500 billion every year.
Right. France is still taking $500 billion a year out of Africa right now, out of their 14 ex-colonies, because they made them sign the Pact of the Continuation of Colonization back in the late 50s. And they had no choice but to sign.
And what does that look like? Because that means, so whenever these 14 countries that are, part of that, like when they have goods that they want to export, they can't because...
Yes, they can, but they have to export them to France.
They have to export them to France.
And then have to buy back. They have to buy back the products. They export the natural resources, the raw materials, and then they have to buy back the products from France.
With their money.
With their money. Now, France also forces them to give up to 85% of their GDP to France. Up to 85%, right? They force them to give them French companies the first right of refusal for every public or private contract.
And they have maintained this by cooing the leaders who have decided to be sovereign and installing their puppets. And then they told these are the people who point at the dysfunction that they've caused in African societies and say Africans cannot build modern civilization. Mocking this is a video of Emmanuel Macron mocking the puppets that he has put, because people he puts in Burkina Faso. Because the students asked him about why there's no electricity in Burkina Faso.
Video of French President Emmanuel Macron publicly racially abusing and embarrassing former Burkina Faso President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore has resurfaced and is going viral. In this video from 2017, French President Macron publicly embarrassed the president of Burkina Faso, following which the latter left the hall. When one of the Burkinabe students asked President Macron a question about Burkina Faso's constant power cuts, this is what the French president had to say.
You speak to me as if France was still a colonial power, but I do not want to take care of electricity problems in the universities of Burkina Faso. That's his job. That's the job of the president. So on the other hand, I reassure you. Oh, what's this? He's going away. Stay there. Maybe he's off to repair the air conditioning.
Macron would shamelessly tell French media that it was just a joke and that some Africans need to have thicker skins. After being publicly disrespected by President Macron, President Kabore went on to lose respect throughout the country and was portrayed as an obedient French puppet. These sentiments contributed to his removal in 2022 in a peaceful coup. Burkina Faso is now led by a young Pan-African army captain, Ibrahim Traoré, who spearheaded the latest coup and was named interim president until elections are held in July 2024.
Openly mocked the puppets that he knows was doing his bidding. So the AES Alliance, this is the heart of blackness, this is the heart of black resistance, is under attack. It's under attack, and we must keep talking about it. If you're in France, you should be organizing peace protests to let the world know that we are solidly behind the Sahel states, because we cannot afford to be another Gaddafi, to be another Libya, and be looking back at it in retrospect. Oh, if we had known, we should have done more. Now is the time. We must show the world that we need France and the United States and European countries to leave these people alone.
Vous avez un peu le seum d'être expulsé, d'avoir été expulsé du Sahel, non? En écoutant certains de mes collègues, notamment français à droite, et tout commence à un peu s'éclaircir dans ma tête, parce que je me suis demandé, en Belgique, en France, on continue à produire, à acheter du matériel militaire pour des milliards d'euros, qui a été pensé précisément pour être utilisé dans le Sahel. Je me suis dit, c'est bizarre, parce qu'on nous dit qu'il faut se défendre de la Russie, mais on achète ce matériel militaire spécialisé pour l'Afrique. On va ponctionner nos pensions, nos hôpitaux, nos écoles pour faire ça. Je trouvais ça bizarre, je me suis demandé pourquoi. Et là, j'ai été regardé, j'ai compris que la région du Sahel, en fait, s'est imposée ces dernières années comme un des corridors miniers les plus importants d'Afrique. Le Burkina Faso est l'un des plus grands producteurs d'or en Afrique, mais dispose aussi de cuivre, de zinc, de manganèse, de phosphate. Le Mali va bientôt devenir le deuxième producteur africain de lithium. Détient évidemment des centaines de milliers de tonnes d'uranium, et pendant des années, des décennies, les entreprises européennes ont eu un accès pas cher à toutes ces ressources, toutes ces richesses. Résultat, des pays pillés et une pauvreté extrême pour leur population. Et maintenant, vous avez peur de perdre ces accès. Mais plutôt de vouloir toujours nous ingérer, de toujours faire la guerre, parce qu'on a vu avec la destruction de la Libye ce que ça donnait, aidons plutôt ces pays avec tout ce qu'on peut pour soutenir leur développement souverain.
Our voice is very powerful. We might not be able to go there and fight physically with these states, but our voice, showing our support, the same way that we showed our support for Burkina Faso when that army general went to send it. It's the same way we should be organizing all these protests. We can't just forget about them. I want to go on an esoteric tangent here, because a lot of people don't really know. I did not come to this activism by chance. Like I tell many so-called white leftists, I was Marxist before I heard about Marx, because I am African. I have African Ubuntu. I have real empathy. The core of African philosophy is empathy, is Ubuntu. Do you understand? I did not come to activism because by reading theory. It's in my culture. It's embedded in my culture. I'm a reluctant activist. I'm a writer. I've never liked being in front of the camera. I came to this current activism. I came to like my enlightenment moment via a very real and spiritual experience. I don't like talking about it. I like grounding anything I say in like the physical plane. Right, because I know that I want people to understand geopolitics. I don't want people to be distracted by what they don't understand. Do you understand? But I came to my activism via a very real physical and spiritual experience. I have seen things that it took me time to understand. Things were revealed to me. Like before I heard about the Hermetic principles, I had distilled all of them internally. They were all. If you doubt me, just go back and watch all of my early videos. Watch the first 20 of them. You will see me trying to explain the Hermetic principles. This was before I knew what the Hermetic principles were. I have seen things that I'm still trying to understand, to figure out. Right. I have seen the dragon that has fallen to this earth. I have seen the evil embedded in this planet. Like I have seen it in visions. Do you understand? Like I have been lifted up out of myself, out into the cosmos. I have felt this eternal consciousness. I felt this connectedness to everything. These are real experiences. I don't talk about them because I want to ground what I say in reality, so that I don't turn people off. But this is my experience. Do you understand? So why am I saying this? People don't really understand what's going on this planet. It seems like there's chaos on this planet, but like there's no chaos on this planet. This planet is a perfectly balanced planet. I want to talk to you people about the duality. It's one of the Hermetic principles, but every indigenous community, civilization have talked about it, right? In the Hermetic principles, it says the Hermetic law of duality, formerly known as the principle of polarity, dictates that everything is dual and has opposite poles. Seemingly contradictory forces like hot or cold or love and hate are not fundamentally different things, but rather the exact same phenomena existing at different degrees on a single sliding scale. The Igbos have the same thing. In Igbo cosmology, duality is the foundational belief that nothing is absolute or completely one-sided. Concepts, forces, and realms exist as complementary pairs, such as the physical and spiritual, good and bad, or male and female. Life requires a constant dynamic balance between these two realities. In Chinese philosophy, it says the yin-yang belief, rooted in ancient Chinese philosophy and Taoism, is the concept of duality. It describes how seemingly opposing forces are actually interconnected, complementary, and dependent on one another in the natural world. As above, so below. People do not understand what's going on this planet. I want to tell you what's going on on this planet. Look at the planet. Do you think it is by chance? Do you really believe that it is by chance that there are two diametrically opposed races on this planet? Do you think it's by chance that the white people are in the north and the black people are in the south, and the intermediates, first from probably evolution and then from mixing, are on both sides? You think this is coincidence? You think it's coincidence that the north is cold, mostly cold, with bleeding edges of heat, and that the south is mostly hot, with the bleeding edges of cold? You think this is a coincidence? This is a perfectly balanced planet. It's the law of duality in the physical and in the spiritual, in everything. This is a perfectly balanced planet. There's no chaos on this planet. It's a perfectly balanced planet. I'm saying all this because I'm sick of people pretending that they can't see it. If you believe in the law of duality of yin yang, then you can see. Then there's no reason why the planet, if there's male and female and love and love and hate and health and sickness, if everything is dual, then why will the planet not be perfectly balanced as well? And it's the eternal contradictions. If If you are interested in the liberation of all the peoples of this planet, you should be invested. Why do you think you should be invested in the liberation of blackness? Because this is the eternal contradictions. If there's any archetypical people who are representative of light on this planet, it's black people. And I will tell you why. That's just the way it has shaped out to be. It's not the black people who have gone around destroying all civilizations. It's Europeans. If there are any people who are archetypical of darkness, of evil, so to speak, it's Europeans, because they are the ones who have gone around destroying all civilizations. I'm not making rules. It's a hard conversation to have, but that's just the way it is. And that's not to say that every European is a bad person, because if you look at the yin yang, it says that even in the heart of good, there's darkness in it. So that doesn't mean all black people are good people. Do you understand? It's culturally, and that doesn't mean that all Europeans are bad people. There's good in the heart of darkness, and there's evil in the heart of good. That's literally what the yin yang distance is. Do you understand? What is blackness? What is blackness? Blackness is literally black because it absorbs light. It is an embodiment of light. I mean, when you see anything that is dark, it means it is light. It is holding light. Why is anything white? Because it's reflecting light. It's literally absent constituently of light. You are living in a perfect experiment. That's the reality of what you are living in. And until you understand that the West is using violence to try and stop the universal laws, the sun is literally setting in the West. Do you understand? The sun is setting in the West and is rising in the East, and is peaking is going to peak in the South. The North is decay. Do you understand what's going on this planet? The North is decay. And the South, when the South comes to power, you will have the peak of human civilization. This is how when you wonder how Egypt was built, this is how Egypt was built. Do you understand the polarity that is going on this planet? Do you understand what's going on this planet? This is a perfectly balanced planet. This is a perfect experiment. This is an experiment in sovereignty. That's what's going on this planet. You have to learn to come together to liberate everybody, to find the perfect balance between the North and the South, between exploitation and freedom. We are like rats in a maze where the trapdoor to free everybody, right, is dependent on the weight of maybe like half of the population of rats in the maze. So until we can get enough people on that trapdoor to open, the trapdoor will not open. This is the experiment of this planet. So if you are the good in the North, you should be fighting. Why do you think they demonize sub-Saharan Africans? Why do you think they demonize blackness? Look at everything you think is culture in the world today. It came out of West Africa. It came out of the sub-Saharan Africans. This is why they are demonizing West Africans. Everything you think is Latin American culture, salsa, tango, it is West African culture. I'm not saying it doesn't have other influences, but it is rooted in West African culture. People that were taken from West Africa. Look at the global culture today that Black Americans have pioneered. Everything, bluegrass, jazz, everything that is we call Black American culture and American culture today and world culture today, it comes from West Africa. I'm not saying it's not the Black Americans that did it. I'm saying it's rooted in West Africa. It's rooted from their journey in West Africa. And that has nothing to do with the fact that maybe some of them were indigenous. That's another debate. But we cannot deny that a lot of the foundational sounds in culture came out of West African slaves. Jamaica. Let's not even talk about the connections that people are making between Chinese culture and West African culture, and Japanese culture and West African culture. These literally the same names with some tribes in West Africa. All of culture comes out of West Africa.
Who is exporting culture now out of Africa? Who is currently exporting culture out of Africa now, if not the West Africans? Everything changes, but everything remains the same. You think the rise of West African culture, in spite of our neo-colonial suppression, you think it's by chance? Everything changes, but everything remains the same. The people who built culture in the past, who are still building it now. You think Afrobeats and Nollywood is by fluke? You think our fashion rising, that everybody's ordering dresses from Nigeria, you think it's by fluke? You think it's by fluke? Look at where's literature coming out from today? It's West Africa. Like, it's not by fluke. It's not by fluke. These are the culture builders of the world. I'm not saying they're the only ones who build culture. I'm saying they're the heart of creation. They're the heart of culture. They're the seed of all the culture in the world. This is where culture was exported from. These people, these black people. If it was the people in Egypt who built Egypt, currently Egypt, who built Egypt, why are they not exporting their culture? Who's exporting culture out of Africa now, if not the West Africans? The heart of black, and when I say West Africa, I don't mean just West Africans. I mean the large Bantu group, the people who are called black people. These people who have this woolly hair. Do you understand? This is the heart of blackness.
Can you not see the duality that is going on this planet? Why am I saying all this? This is an eternal struggle of sovereignty for everybody to be free. You have to free blackness. You have to free blackness. This is the only way to free people. I'm not saying this to demonize Europeans, but I'm telling you that this is the duality on the planet. If you can open your eyes and look at the world, it's no chaos on this world. It's a perfectly balanced planet. Perfectly balanced. It's just the West, the North is trying to use violence to stop the flow. The universal, everything is rhythm. Everything is flow. There's the rise and fall. It's tides. Do you understand? Everybody gets their turn, but the West is trying to stop it. It's trying to stop civilization. It's trying to stop universal law by using violence to stop the spread of prosperity. The sun is literally setting in the west and rising in the east, peaking in the south. If you want humanity to progress, you must be fighting for the liberation of blackness as a human being on this planet. That's what's going on this planet.